Hopefully they're all in order. Should check my phone, hey? No last minute messages.
Worship,
We'll call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. We'll begin this gathering with an acknowledgement that the land upon which we meet is the traditional territory of the First Nations people, who have a long-standing relationship with the land, water, and region of Southwest Middlesex. We convey our respects to our Indigenous neighbors and thank them for their contributions to our culture, our community, our past, and partnerships we will have in the future. Today's meeting will be streamed live as well as recorded and published on the Southwest Middlesex YouTube and website. Members of the public are always welcome to attend meetings in person at the municipal office at 153 McKellar Street, Glencoe. Mayor Alan Mayhew has provided regrets for today's meeting. He won't be here. We wish him safe travels. And I'd like to personally thank staff for going over the agenda in detail with me yesterday. Do we have any disclosure of pecuniary interests and the general nature thereof? Councillor Choi.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to declare an interest in 16D and 16J, indirect pecuniary interest for due to a business relationship with individuals involved.
Okay, thank you. Any additions to the agenda? Can I get a motion that the regular council agenda of June 28th, 2023 be accepted as presented, please? Councillor McGill and Councillor McCullough. All in favor? Motion carried. No delegations and presentations. The consent agenda, everybody's had a chance to look at it, go over the minutes. And could I get a motion to accept the minutes for the June 14th, 2023 council meeting? Councillor Myers moves it. And Councillor Haggett seconds it. All in favor? Motion carried. Adjustment, no. Meetings, staff reports, operations. We will now have a meeting to consider the Glencoe outlet drain. Council shall consider the report proposed by Spreet and Associates dated June 2nd, 2023, and shall give opportunity to any persons who own lands within the area requiring drainage who have not signed a petition an opportunity to do so and or remove their names from the petition. And I will now hand it over to the drainage superintendent to give us an overview of the work required.
At this point, I will hand it off to George from Spreet's office. This is a minor improvement. This council has seen this come to it already, and this is just the consideration of this.
Thank you, Your Worship. So yeah, this is the Glencoe Outlet Drain Culvert 2023. This is essentially a culvert on Industrial Road to extend that to the proponent's site. Currently, they have a significant amount of traffic going down Park House, and they would like to redirect that traffic down Industrial Road and to access their site. So in effort to initiate this and keep it moving, they have signed a minor improvement, means they're solely responsible for all the costs. The estimated cost of this culvert's $139,000. So they are responsible both for the cost to construct this and also the future maintenance cost as outlined in the report here. And I would anticipate if this passes tonight's meeting, it would go to construction in this year's timing window, which starts at July 15th and ends at October of this year. So sometime between then, I think there's a significant push to get this installed sooner rather than later. So I would anticipate If all goes well tonight, it'll be installed shortly. And I welcome any questions on this report.
Thank you. Any questions on the report from members of council? Seeing no questions, we will move on to, is there any property owners present that wish to speak to this? Okay. And any comments or questions from council members? Councillor Vink, go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I believe the drainage inspector mentioned one time about cleaning up to the new bridge. And I just wondered who would cover those costs.
Yeah. So that is not part of this project. There is another project that's going on to make improvements to the channel. Those would be typically stipulated in a standard. What this is considered a minor improvement report. So meaning the owners requested something specific and they are willing to pay the entire cost of that. That other work is what's called a major improvement project. So they're going to assess that in the standard procedure under the Drainage Act with benefit and outlet. So there are two separate projects. One is currently ongoing. This has been, moved to the front of the agenda to try to get that traffic off Park House as soon as possible.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I'll read out the new motion. That council accepts the engineer's report in reference to the Glencoe Outlet Drain Culvert 2023, and that the clerk is directed to update the proposed bylaw 2023-055 as attached to the agenda to reflect this in considering a minor improvement, and that the clerk bring the amended bylaw for final consideration at the July 12th, 2023 meeting of council. Can I get a mover for that? Councillor Myers and Councillor Vink seconds it. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is zoning amendment P4 2023 for 195 South Street, Glencoe. The purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the subject lands from residential first density holding R11H1 zone to the site-specific residential third density R3 zone to permit the construction of 24 townhomes on full municipal services. I will hand it over to the planner to present the staff report and recommendations, and also to provide any comments received from circulated agencies and the public.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just going to take a moment to share my screen with yourselves and the people who are joining us online. All right, so as mentioned, the purpose of this evening's rezoning application is to rezone the lands from the R1 zone to a site-specific R3 zone to permit 24 townhomes that are 1-story. They are rental units geared towards senior citizens, and the concept plan, I guess, is a front of you on your screen. So I just want to note that the intent of this public meeting is to have an opportunity to present the rezoning application to the public and to council, and to hear feedback to be taken into consideration prior to presenting a recommendation to council. So no recommended decision this evening. It's for information purposes. So looking forward to hearing from the public and council from this. But from a high level, from a planning perspective, residential development is encouraged within the settlement area boundaries on full municipal services. Municipalities are encouraged to have a diverse range of housing options to accommodate existing and future residents. And staff, just as part of this process, will be recommending and looking at landscaping provisions, fencing, those more detailed elements through a site plan control application, which would occur subsequent to the rezoning application. So the notice, as well as the plan, has been circulated to agencies in accordance, as well as landowners, sorry, in accordance to the requirements of the Planning Act. And as of this date, staff received the following agency comments. The Lower Thames Conservation Authority did note no objections to the proposal, but do request the ability to review the stormwater details again once we get to the site plan process of the development. The Ministry of Transportation has no requirements for the application. The St. Clair Region Conservation Authority noted that the property is located outside of their jurisdiction. The Southwest Middlesex Drainage Superintendent did note the stormwater outlet is the Glencoe outlet drain. The portion of the drain is a 21-inch tile that was installed in 1947. The applicants again will be required to address drainage and stormwater through the site plan control process. The chief building official had no objection to the proposal, but would request additional details, lot grading, servicing, etc., fire hydrant locations at the time of site plan control application. The Southwest Middlesex Public Works Department did note that a detailed review of the engineering and design has been completed by a third-party engineer, which is Street Associates, on behalf of the municipality. Street identified revisions to be made in regards to sanitary, water, roads, parking, stormwater management, as well as requested some additional information to be provided at the time of the site plan application. The technical review comments have been provided to the applicant, and staff will continue to work with the applicant throughout the planning process to address all servicing matters. CN Rail did require that a noise study be completed as part of the development process. Also, this is becoming more standard in any developments within 300 meters of the right-of-way, but they are recommending that a warning clause just for noise and vibration be incorporated into the site plan agreement. They're asking for an easement agreement and just an opportunity to take part generally in the site plan process. The county engineer has reviewed the application and advised of no comments. And at the time of writing the subject report, staff didn't receive any written submissions from members of the public. So with that being said, it is recommended that the application be accepted for information purposes this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant here and wishes to speak? You could take the microphone and introduce yourself.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank council and thank staff for your time that you put into this application. It is sincerely appreciated. I'm Cindy Reed. I'm here on behalf of Goldleaf Properties. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to just kind of tell you a little bit about our company and a little bit about the proposed application that you have in front of you. A little bit of background on Goldleaf Properties. We're a second generational family owned company. This development of senior townhomes geared to 55 plus will be our sixth development of this kind. We currently have 2 locations in Strathroy, 1 in Park Hill, 1 in Petrolia, and we're currently constructing 1 in Ilderton. We're very excited to have the opportunity to be working in Glencoe. What we do is we gear to seniors. We get a lot of people that reach out to us and say that they're from the area. They want to downsize from a farm and they want to stay in the area. So what we propose, having a single-story townhome, slab on grade with a garage that's completely geared to seniors. There's no steps at all, no step going from the garage into the home or from the front door into the house or even the back door. All the doorways are wide enough to accommodate a walker or a wheelchair. They're all heated with in-floor heating, which is really nice for the seniors. We find a lot of circulation issues and are always cold, their cold feet. So that's always a nice feature. They are a luxury unit, so they're very well done. They fit really well into the town. And being that they're rentals, and again, that we're a family company, we have a vested interest to make sure that they look really, really nice, and that they're well maintained, that they present really nice, so that when people drive through the development, it's really appealing to the eye. They have stone faces, brick sides, metal roofs, all concrete driveways. We do a little bit of landscaping in the front. So like I said, they're very well done. And if anyone ever is in the area of Strathroy and wants to take an opportunity to drive through our developments there, or Park Hill or Petrolia, I welcome you to do that. You'll probably find a senior or two that's out and will invite you in to take a peek, because it really does become a community where, you know, everyone that's moving in has very similar interests. They're at the same point in their life. So they get together for coffee or cards or dinner parties or that sort of thing. So it really is what we like to call really just responsible, easy, comfortable living geared to the seniors. And there is such a need for this. Like, we have people that reach out to our office, like the phone just rings off the hook, the emails just come in droves. For people saying, I want to stay in my town. I'm not old enough that I need to go to a nursing home or assisted living, but I just can't maintain my large property. So this is perfect. They move in here. We take care of cutting the grass. We take care of the snow removal. We take care of all maintenance and everything. So it's just really easy if they want to enjoy their retirement life and go to Florida for 3, 4, 6 months out of the year. They just lock the door and away they go. So it is really, really nice, and we're really proud of what we offer, and we really like to cater to the seniors, to that demographic, because there is such a need.
It's great. Thank you very much.
No problem. Oh, and I also wanted to let everyone know that our planning consultant, Rick Knuston, he is available via Zoom if there's any questions in regards to the planning aspect of it as well.
Get to that shortly. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Is there anybody from the public that wishes to speak to this? Okay, council, it's in your hands now. This is for information purposes. Is there any questions? Comments? Councilor Lee?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm not sure if I can ask this, but what about garbage removal? This is all rental properties. Would a garbage truck be able to go down the street, or how would that be handled?
Thank you for your question. That is all determined in the engineering, that the turning radiuses and that sort of thing. It is all taken into consideration to give the seniors the option for the curbside pickup.
Follow up. Any other questions? Councilor McGill, go ahead.
Yeah, through the mayor or the deputy mayor to Cindy, this sounds like a great addition to Southwest Middlesex.
Any other comments or questions? Can I get a motion to approve the zoning bylaw amendment application B4 2023 to be received for information? Councilor Myers moves it. Councilor Haggis seconds it. All in favor? Motion carried. Thank you. So now we will move on to zoning amendment P5 2023 5773 Park House Drive. The purpose and effect of the temporary use zoning bylaw amendment renewal application is to continue to permit 2 single detached dwellings on an agricultural lot for an additional period of 1 year while a new residence continues to be constructed on the lands. The existing residence would be removed upon the expiration of the 1-year period or the occupancy of the new single detached dwelling, whichever occurs first. I will again hand it over to our planner to present the staff report and recommendations and any comments from circulated agencies in the public.
Thank you. So the lands are subject to temporary use rezoning application P7 2022, which was granted by council on June 22nd of 2022. And as mentioned, permits 2 single detached dwellings on an agricultural parcel of land, which is set to expire at the end of June of 2023. The applicant has not yet completed construction of the new dwelling and has applied to renew the temporary use for an additional 1-year period to allow, again, to continue to live in the dwelling while in the process of constructing the new dwelling. Staff are of the opinion that the temporary use is in conformity with the policy documents and do not have any concerns in regards to compatibility, servicing, access, impacts to surrounding agricultural uses. And the proposed new dwelling has been evaluated against the zoning standards and appears to meet all of the applicable standards for the A1 zone. Notice of the application was circulated in accordance to the requirements of the Planning Act, and staff received the following comments. The St. Clair Region Conservation Authority noted that the lands are outside of the regulated area. The Ministry of Transportation has no requirements. Lower Thames Valley Conservation Authority has no objections to the proposal, but did note an application from their office would be required within any of the regulated area, which I believe is towards the rear of the property. CN Rail has no comments. The Chief Building Official has no objections. The Southwest Middlesex Public Works Department has no objections. The Southwest Middlesex Drainage Superintendent just noted that if there is going to be a basement outlet drain, that it is not directed into any drains, but that will be determined through the building process, through the building permit process, sorry. And at the time of writing the subject report, no written submissions were received from members of the public. So it is recommended that the application be granted and that the owners enter into a temporary use agreement with the municipality to ensure the removal of the existing residence occurs. Thank you.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? No. Does anybody from the public wish to speak to this? Nothing. Okay, council, it's your hands now. Comments or questions? Seeing, did you have one?
Yes, Deputy Mayor. I recommend Stephanie's application.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a seconder for that? Councillor McCollum seconds it. Any further discussion? No? All in favor? Motion carried. This is a motion. As council knows, these 2 notices of motion were on our last agenda. Unfortunately, Councillor Choi was away that evening. Our sympathies to you and your family, Amy. And just so that you know, we did pass 2 motions that were about these 2 items from other municipalities that were circulating, but I'll leave it in your hands how you wish to proceed.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, so I did see what was on the consent agenda, and that everyone was in favor of it last meeting. For the Bill 5 request for further action, the original Bill 5 was defeated in May when it came to the voting on it, the second reading, I believe. So what we had put together is essentially a similar legislation motion requesting that to stop harassment and abuse by local leaders and bringing it forward, hopefully to show urgency in having it tabled this fall, and that municipal governments be included in the conversation when they're putting that legislation together. So I would just like to forward this on to the Premier, Honorable Steve Clark, and Honorable Charmaine Williams, and Honorable Monty McNaughton, and also Middlesex County, just to show our support in it and hopefully have this new legislation to still support Bill 5, even though it's been defeated.
Okay, thank you. So I'll look for a seconder for that motion. Councillor McGill will second it. Did anybody else have comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. And we'll move on to the second one.
Thank you. Yes, so this one is essentially the same as the ones that were in the consent agenda last meeting. At Good Roads on the Sunday, I believe, a member of the Ranger family came forward and spoke to their younger brother years ago being hit and killed while getting off of a school bus. And what they were bringing forward is that people to see school buses the same way that they would see a police vehicle, that if you drive past it, that you would be getting a ticket. I support that. Some of the information that they said was that in Ontario, drivers illegally pass school buses more than 30,000 times per day. And I think that number is just absurd, knowing who all is affected when something like that happens. So again, this motion is just to ask that stop arm cameras be installed on school buses and that the province does the funding for it. And also that anyone that passes a school bus can be ticketed and fined for that.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a seconder for that motion? Councillor Myers, any discussions or questions on it? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? All opposed? Nobody? Motion carried. Thank you. No correspondence and petitions. No unfinished business. No new business. Councillor conference updates. No. Any announcements? I'd like to just take a brief second here to wish Councillor Haggis' father, Ken Haggis, turns 90 tomorrow. And on behalf of Southwest Middlesex, I'd like to wish Ken a happy birthday. Any other announcements, Councillor Vink?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Today we received an email from Ellen in regards to Mosa State Trillion Drive. And so they filled out a petition. I've talked to Barry, and I believe the email states that the petition is going to be at the next meeting. But I also want to be on public record that we asked them to be allowed to have a delegation status at that meeting or a meeting afterwards. I believe that's something that they would like to speak to us about. And I've spoken with Barry directly. So I'm putting that on public records that we give them delegation status.
Thanks for that, Councillor Vink. I don't think it'll be a problem. We'll include them for delegation then. Thanks, Councillor Vink. Any other announcements? None? So we'll move on to no closed session. We'll move on to bylaws. We have, make sure I've got them in the right order here. The council adopt bylaws 2023-033 through to bylaw 2023-054 with the exclusion of 2023-036 and 2023-042 to be adopted as read. Can I get a mover for that, please? Councillor Myers moved it. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor McGill seconds it. Any discussion? Councillor Vink, go ahead.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. You're asking for questions on any of these bylaws?
That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah.
One thing I've noticed that some of them included CNR. And of course, I think it's well known that CNR and CP, one of them are not paying their bills. So I just wondered in the meantime, they're being enforcement for some of this, how is that being covered?
Thank you. Through your worship, we're really not affected on this so much right now. Many municipalities are, but we're treading very lightly and very carefully with CN when it comes to certain projects. They're named in there just simply because they are on some of these situations, but they, for most part, in all intents and purposes, are paying their bills with us. Usually when we have a drain that includes them, if you reach out beforehand and you establish what the cost may look like, they're usually pretty good to come to the table and work something out with you. It's the ones that they were getting by surprise that they weren't getting a heads up on that they are contesting out there. And there are, several millions of dollars to other municipalities that aren't being taken care of, but we're ahead of that for the most part here. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Any further questions? Councillor McCollum?
To the mayor. What about billing? Are these people been billed already?
Yeah, through your worship, the drainage superintendent nor the treasurer are here tonight, but from my understanding is yes, they have been. They've been given ample notice. It's happened as the work has gone on, and this is kind of the final stage of what happens when something doesn't occur.
Follow up.
Go ahead.
And so they have what, 21 days to pay for it from today? Or what is it after the motion here?
Yeah, the clerk's just doing a double check on it. I believe that's correct. And the sensitivity of it would just be transferred to the tax roll. No, they haven't, but it's filled out. Okay, so your worship, with your okay, I'll just read off what the treasurer sent council earlier today. So you'll notice that there was a large number of drain collection on bylaws on the agenda tonight. These relate to drain maintenance wrapped up throughout the year that are billable since the last batch was billed out. So there may be a circumstance where somebody hasn't got this yet, to answer to Councilor McCollum's question. At the beginning of each year, we compile all information, prepare all submissions to OMAFRA for grants with deadlines earlier in the year. Once these are complete, we can move on to the collection bylaws. These need to be complete before final taxes are prepared in August, as a fair amount of these will be either put on directly on the taxes or debentured on taxes. Some of them are substantial amounts, and that's why you'll hear that and see that. These are amounts that we have paid for drains on behalf of the landowners, applied for the grant, and billed out in the net amounts. And certainly let her know if you have any questions. You can send a message to Kristen directly, and she'll help you out in this couple of days if you want to find from there. But if these are ones that we've either applied for grant, assisted with payment, and or haven't been paid, that will be transferred to taxes or debentured.
Okay, thank you. Is that good, Don?
That's fine.
Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks for bringing that to our attention. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Note of it. Okie dokie. Any other comments or questions? What's going on? So all in favor? Oh, did you have another question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't hear
Sorry,
exactly.
It wasn't loud enough. Sorry, Councillor Vink, go ahead.
Yeah, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't hear everything what Mr. McCall stated.
Okay, if you could, do you mind repeating that?
Yep.
Some of us are a little hard of hearing.
No, me included. Me included. Martin and I aren't pro pages. No, I just was asked by a group of the Switzer McLean and Switzer Greens. And we've all spoke this week and saw this. I think that my wife found it on Facebook through Mr. Shouldice. And then we looked at the agenda and saw that we were on there. So we called a couple of councillors and got as much information as we could. So I said I'd come out and just to see what was here. And we're just letting you know, we're not in arrears. And we just haven't got a bill for the Switzer. And so what is, and is, I haven't seen any bylaws. What is the purpose of this meeting tonight?
Yeah, this is a standard annual thing that happens. What I was going to ask you, Rob, is what's the completion date? When was the completion date of the project?
Over a year ago, year and a half. Okay.
Can you leave your contact info with our clerk when on your way out?
Well, I would hope you would have it. But
Well, yeah, okay. No, sorry. I'm leaving tonight for holidays. I won't be here. We probably do have it, but that way we can make sure that you get contacted directly. Okay, oh, I understand. So, but if you leave it, it'll happen immediately. When Kristen gets in the morning, there'll be a call placed. You'll either get a call from Andrew or
no,
her.
and we just wanted to make you know that. Yeah, we give the bill, we go over it, make sure there's no discrepancies. And pay it.
Yeah.
We did the plain switchers.
And I apologize, she's away at a training course today involved, so wasn't able to get back. So we'd have our treasurer.
Oh,
That would have been helpful.
well, Andrew
Yeah.
and all them were in the hallway when I
Yeah.
came.
Okay.
But anyway,
Thank you. Any other comments on the bylaws before I call the question? No more comments or questions? Okay, so all in favor of the bylaws? Motion passed. Then we have two more bylaws, and making sure I've got everything covered here.
Your worship, the one motion regarding bylaw 2023/055 has been pulled according to the resolution. And then we're down to the two bylaws that Councillor Choi has declared a pecuniary interest on, which is 36 and 42, I believe.
Good, okay, thank you. So we have, as the clerk just pointed out, those two bylaws. So, and any questions on these bylaws? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carried. Alan,
Your worship, I may have missed the first and second on. I wasn't.
but it's just first and second reading. Oh, sorry about that. Councillor McGill will move it. And can I get a seconder on that? Councillor Myers, sorry about that.
And through your worship, could you call the question again?
Yep, all in favor? All in favor. Thank you. Motion carried. Thanks. So future meetings, July 12th, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. And I will call the meeting adjourned. Thank you.